Yeah, I think it's fine now, right? So what I mean to say is that if I write browser.page.webElement, okay, in front of webElement, if I give this function dot capture bitmap, fine, and I give the name of the file, that is C colon, say the file is temp.png. Okay, so what will happen is that the screenshot of this particular web element will be captured in this file, not the complete page. Okay, and you can give comma 1 means if this file is already present, override this file. Okay, and I'll give a little bit of wait statement over here. I'm giving wait out here so that we actually delay a little bit. Wait is equivalent to delaying. If you have studied Java, then it's equivalent to writing thread.sleep. Okay, so it will delay the program by 5 seconds, and if you run this from line number 14, run from step, so the program will halt for here for 5 seconds. Meanwhile, I'll make QTP. Sorry, I'll make the browser maximize, and after 5 seconds, the script will be over. And if I go to my C drive, I'll see a file called temp.png. If I open this, this will just have the screenshot of that particular text. Fine. And if I want to take the screenshot of the complete browser, in that case, you know, the capture bitmap feature is there at all the levels. Fine. If you look at this thing, then you see that in operations you have capture bitmap at the web element level, you have it at the page level, you have it at the browser level. So if I write over here browser this dot capture bitmap in the file C colon temp1.png, comma 1. 1 means if temp1.png exists, overwrite it. And if I run this from line number 14, so the second line will take the screenshot of the complete page. So I maximize my Gmail now, and I look at this thing. You have temp1.png. If you open this, then you will see this whole PNG file coming up to you. Right, so this is the complete screenshot of the page. Okay, I'll close this. So this is how you can take the screenshots and all. So basically I talked about 3 things. One is the RO properties. What are RO properties? They have the runtime object properties which come from the browser. Right? They represent the actual values and they can be retrieved with the function known as getROProperty. Okay. The other type of properties are the TO properties. The TO properties are the expected values. They are there in the object repository and they can be retrieved using the function getTOProperty. These functions getTOProperty and ROProperty are there for all the objects. Okay, for browser, page, link, web element, web button, web edit, all of them will have these. Okay, and out here I taught you how to take the screenshots. The basic thing is developing the NAG. You spy the object, you find out which type of function you want to perform on it by looking into operations, right? And when you go to that object in your code, you can see the same set of functions over here. Okay, fine. Now what we'll do is, wait. Now maybe sometimes you want to pass the string and all whatever you are reading from the application. For that you might use the string functions or whatever it is. Right? For example, after reading this text, right, you need to find how many times Gmail is repeated inside it. So for that you will have to use the string functions and all everything. Sometimes you have a string like your order number is, and there is a big alphanumeric order number in front of. Okay, so you read the string like your order number is this. So out of that you just have to extract the order number. You have to break that string and you have to extract the order number. So these type of scenarios you do a lot. Okay, you sometimes there are a lot of things, a lot of times you need to break the strings into various parts. For that you have the VB function known as split. Okay, for example, I read my actual value from the application. Okay, I read the inner text, I read this text, and I need to break each and every word. I need to segregate each and every word. Each and every word is separated by a space. Okay, so what you can use is you can use the inbuilt function known as split. What split function does is you supply the string which you want to split, comma, the parameter, the delimiter on the basis of which you want to split. You see, QTP gives you the hints as well. That is optional delimiter. That means it's an optional component. It's not necessary to give it, but I'll give it. The delimiter is a blank space. Okay, I'll show it to you with a simple example first. Right. So what I'll do is I'll save this test as day 2 underscore 3. Okay, I'll make a new test. And I write dim x5. What does this mean? This means x is an array. I hope you know what basically an array is. It's a data structure which can hold many things inside it. Right? If I write dim x5, and this means that this array can hold 6 elements. So in VB there is 1 plus element always. If I write dim x3, this array will hold 4 elements inside it. I can write x0 equals to some number, x1 equals to say my name in string. So you can store numbers, strings, whatever you want. x2 equals to some decimal number, you can store it, and x3 equals to QTP. So this X is an array which holds multiple numbers or multiple strings inside it, and the size of the array is actually 1 plus the declared size, because we start from 0. Okay, now if I write over here print ubound x, ubound is an inbuilt function. If you run this will print the size of the array. Ubound gives you the size of the array. Fine. And if you write over here a for loop for I equals to 1, 2, ubound of x, and you write over here print x of I, fine, and you run this will print the complete contents of the array. I'm starting from 1, I should have started from 0. So if you go from 0 till 3, when I is 0, it will print x0, the next one, the next 2, and so on and so forth. So when you run this, it will print this for loop will print the complete contents of the array. Now similarly, if I have a string called str equals to this is a good day, . and I split this string. I write split str on the basis of blank space. That means break the string on the basis of blank space and take the result in a variable, say temp. So what will happen is temp will become an array. Okay, and if I write print ubound temp, this will give you the size of the array. What should be size of this array? Let's run this. It prints ubound temp is 4, which is absolutely correct because there are 4 particular words separated by blank spaces. And if you write a for loop similar to this, for I equals to 0 till ubound of temp and print temp of I, it will print all the words separately, right? If you run this from line number 13, you see that this is a good day is printed. Fine. So basically, you have this requirement a lot in the applications. That is, you need to read the strings, you need to break them, you need to pass them. So the split function is very helpful at that time. Okay, let me store this as day2 underscore 4. So I'll open the old script, that is day2 underscore 3, and if you go there, and if you look at this actual value, fine, and you want to split this actual value on the basis of blank space, okay, and take the result in a temp variable and write a for loop for I equals to 0 till ubound of temp, right, and print temp of I, and you run this from line number 20. So you see that it prints all the words separately in the string. Okay, you might need this in your application as well at times when you are validating stuff. Okay, now it's not necessary to always break the string on the basis of blank space, right? For example, I open the test 2,4, in which I explained the split function. Instead of splitting it on the basis of blank space, if I split it on the basis of, say, the letter is, the word is. So what will happen is that this will go in the first part of the array and the rest will go in the second part. So if you run this from line number 13, you see that, right? If I split it on the basis of the letter I and run this from line number 13, see that, right? So this is how at times you might need, you have a different scenario and you might have to process a different scenario every time. For example, suppose I am on this side, timesofIndia.com. Okay, it's a newspaper website. Okay, and if you scroll down, out here you have got two numbers, 5 plus 4 equals 2. You can write 9 and vote. Fine. Now suppose you need to write a QTP script which finds the sum of these two numbers and writes the sum in this text box. Okay, I give this example very frequently to people with all the automation tools like Selenium, self-test and all. So with QTP as well, I give this example. Fine. So if you actually look how to do this. Then basically you have two objects to deal with. If you spy this page, then 5 plus 4 is a single web element. Okay, and you need to calculate the sum and write the sum in this text field. Every time you refresh the page, okay, this web element, the properties of this web element, they change. Okay, so when I spy this, this is the web element, right? I add this to the object repository. Fine, I open the object repository and I see that this element is added. I'll name this element, I'll give it a good name called sum. But the thing which is disturbing me out here is that in the description properties I can see the inner text is 5 plus 4 equals to. The TO property 5 plus 4 equals to, this is the TO property. But when I refresh this page and I go to Times of India again, I see that both the numbers, they have changed. It's a kind of dynamic object. It changes every time you refresh the page. But in your object repository, you are telling that the properties of the object should be identified. Pull out the object from the page which has the properties 5 plus 4 equals to as inner text. So this is not a good thing. So I'll cancel this. I'll remove this property. I don't want this. So I will find a stable property, okay, which remains same even if the page refreshes. Okay, right. So you have the sum out here, okay, and I removed the unstable property, that is the property which was always changing. I don't need that. So what I'll do is I'll spy that stuff again. And you see that the property HTML ID is math Q2. Now this property is not going to change. Whenever you refresh the page, the HTML ID will not change. So what I can do is, I can click on this plus sign, scroll down, select this property HTML ID, click on OK, so this property will come up. Now I have a stable property for my object. Right? So I can drag the object in this, right, and I can write dot get arrow property. Now I need to read the text of a particular object. The text is a property, inner HTML arrow property. So get the arrow property, inner HTML. And get it in the variable say x and print x. So when I run this script, this will bring the 6 plus 0 equals to from the page. If I refresh this page, and I look at the property again, now this is 7 plus 0. So if I run the QTP script again, script will recognize the object and will print 7 plus 0 now. This is because I introduced a stable property to identify the object. I introduced the property mathQ2. Fine. Now I am getting the string something like this: 7 space plus space 0 equals to. Okay, right. So what I need to do is I need to extract the numbers from it, add them. Fine. So what I do is I split this, split x on the basis of blank space. Take the result in the variable array temp. So when I split it on the basis of blank space, in 0th index 7 will come, because you know what, these numbers, they have a space in them. There is a space out here. There is a space out here. Okay. So in the 0th index I will get 7. In the first index I will get plus. In the second index I will get 0. Okay. So 0, 1 and 2. So I am interested in the 0th index and the second index. Fine. So what I will do is I will write over here sum is equal to temp of 0th index plus temp of, in 1 I will have plus sign, in 2 I will have the number 0 again. Okay, and I will write over here print sum. When you run this, it prints 70. Fine, and this is not the required one, right? 7 plus 0 is 7, but it is printing 70. It's printing 70 because this thing is equivalent to writing the same. I told you in the beginning, right? If I write print 3, 2 plus 5, it will print 25. So in order to get the numbers, similarly, temp 0 and temp 2 are strings like these. So I have to convert them to integer by writing cint like this. So now when I run, it will print 7. So similarly, you will have to write cint of temp 0 plus cint of temp 2. So when you run this, this thing will give you 7. Right? Now even if you refresh the page, okay, even if you refresh the page, okay, and the numbers they change. Now 4 plus 0 has come up. This 0 is always coming. Okay, and if you run the code, this will print the result. 4 plus 0 is 4. Now you need to write the result in this text field. This is the text field, right? So you select this text field and add it to your object repository. Okay, so you go to your object repository, you will see that the text field is also there in the object repository. This is the web edit. Web edit means the text field. Okay. I'll give it a good name known as result field. Okay. I'll drag this to the script, and to the text field you have the set function associated with it. Set will set the value. I'll write set sum. So the value of this sum, I'm going to set it in the text field. So when you run this code, you see that 4 is written inside this text field. So even if I refresh the page now, and now the numbers are 1 plus 3, and if I run the script, it will find the sum and set 4 inside it. Okay. Now there's a point, there's a little bit of cautious point over here. The thing is, this sum is of the type integer, and the set function, it's good to give a type of it's good to give string inside the set function. So it will be better if you convert this whole thing into a string. Okay, cstr function will convert your integer to a string. Okay, right? Any doubt till now? Fine. You use the get arrow property, you use some VB scripting functions, you split your string, you convert them to integer, you convert the result into a string and all. So all these things, in practical real-time examples and all, you'll come across scenarios where you'll have to do this thing regularly on a regular basis. Alright. Now, okay. So what all I talked about, I'll just save this first. Day 2_5. Also, I'll save all these inside this. Hold on, let me close QTP. TSR as well. And structure your whole thing. This is day 2. There was something known as day 1. So all the code which I am making, I'll make in these folders. Tomorrow I'll make in day 3. Okay. So, alright. Now, okay. Now let's move further. Okay. Let's see how to use VBScripting and various HTML components with QTP. Fine. When you are using QTP, I had to close this because that script was locked. I closed it. Right. So now suppose there is a web edit. Okay. Now first of all, what we do is, let me open the page. This is, suppose I'm again on Gmail. Fine, let's do simple examples. Okay. This is the edit box. You can write anything into it. Okay. So if you add this edit box into your object repository, fine. From the object repository, you can drag this edit box. Okay. Now sometimes people, what they do it like this. They write set obj equals to this. Now by writing set over here, this means creating the object in the memory. Obj will represent this web edit. Okay. When you write obj dot, you will get all the functions which are to be associated with this web edit, web edit. These functions are also available if you had put a dot over here. So instead of writing this complete line again and again, okay, what we do is that we denote an object representing this web edit. Okay. Maybe I will call it as username. Let's make it username. And you can use anything. Username dot set. See, I set the value hello inside it. So when you run this, hello will be written inside it. Okay. So if I write 2 times username dot set hello world, fine. When you run this, first hello will be written, then world will be written. Okay. Now at times people, they come to me with a problem that they actually want to. They don't want that when you write the set function again, the old value should not be lost. Okay, there are scenarios and all which people have come up and they have asked me the question that, okay Ashish, what is happening is that it's writing the first word, but after when I fire the next set function with it, okay, the older one is lost and the new one replaces the older one.